walls or bridges? Have you ever asked yourself this question? If my father were still alive, exactly in 1 week time, we would celebrate his birthday. In 1 week time, on November the 24th, my father would be 92. He was born in Ukraine, in Kharkov, but the vast majority of his time he spent living in Moscow. He was the person who built bridges and not walls. If my father was still alive, we would celebrate his birthday either in Budapest, where Veronika and I live, or in Switzerland, where my brother lives with his family, or in Germany, where my father's sister lives, or in Moscow, where he used to live. He was the person who united people. He was the most lovable person, and he was also a scholar. He was a physicist. His favorite physicist was Albert Einstein. I know that you are a physicist. I remember when I was a small girl, there was a photo on my father's wall, and this was the photograph of Albert Einstein. A few years ago, when I was doing my studies in psychology and coaching, I read a story, and this story was about Albert Einstein. Once he was interviewed, and it was at the time when Albert Einstein was extremely famous, and this famous physicist was asked, what is the most important question any scholar should ask himself or herself and should answer? It took Albert Einstein a few minutes to think, and he said, is the universe a friendly place or a hostile place? This journalist was absolutely shocked. Why? Why this question? Is the universe a friendly place or a hostile place? And Albert Einstein said, if you consider the universe a friendly place, you start building bridges. If you consider the universe a hostile place, you start building walls. We might think that we are very, very small, that we are just a particle in this universe. We cannot influence anything, especially these days. I frequently think about this story about building bridges or about building walls, and especially after the 24th of February, after Russia's shelling hit Kharkov, the city where my father was born. Luckily, my father did not witness it. He had already died. Very frequently, we think that we are too small, we cannot influence certain things. But if there is peace in us, if there is harmony in us, we can create some peaceful surroundings. We can create peaceful communities. Look at what William and Edith have been doing here. Isn't it great? And their choices and their decisions influence ours. And our choices and our decisions influence other people around us. In my opinion, violence begets violence. And in my opinion, kindness begets kindness. It takes two to tango, as they say. When next time you start thinking, whom should I accuse? Or who is the scapegoat? People like looking for scapegoats. Before you start accusing your spouse or your child, your parents or your friend, your government or your boss, just ask yourself, am I building a bridge or a wall? Conflicts are sometimes very necessary. Building walls is also sometimes necessary, especially when gas prices are going up. And even if you are in wall building industry, it might also be necessary. But before initiation of conflict, or when someone invites you to take part in a conflict, remember, it takes two to tango, and ask yourself a question. Am I building a wall or a bridge?